Morning, guys. My name is D. Alvarado, owner and principal inspector for New Life Home Inspections. And this business is called Rest Home Impressions, where we do some renovations. We do all types of work when it comes to renovations, from tiling, framing, drywall, painting, electrical, plumbing, you name it, we could do it. If there's something that we can do, we'll let you know ahead of time. Now, this video is going to be a series of videos when it comes to it. It says things to do as a contractor, things not to do as a contractor, what clients do, what clients don't do, and things of the sort. Now, I want to start this one out with what to do as a contractor. A lot of us, we come up from construction backgrounds, we start our own businesses, and we start trying to find ways to be able to provide for our families. Those of you that are watching that are in a contractor and don't have any intentions of being one, this might be good for you as well to listen to and maybe write some things down. Now, I'm novice when it comes to YouTube. Like, I don't have thumbnails and I don't know how to put like the little paragraphs on the sides and stuff like that. So I'm just winging it as we go. So, becoming a contractor, to doing work as a freelance individual, it takes a lot. It takes time, it takes patience, but what's more important, it takes money. And it takes a lot of money. If you're the contractor that's going for the big work, that you have to get your licensing, you have to get insurance, you have to get bonded. When you work in New York City, it's different because you have certain counties that are expecting for you to have certain licenses, certain insurances. I live in New York City, so the competition is extremely tough. One of the things that you're going to have to deal with in a city is that you're always going to have the individuals that are going to say your prices are too expensive. Your prices are not expensive. Their budget doesn't allow for it. Bigger competitions that we have is you go to the Home Depot lot and you have a lot of individuals from different cultural backgrounds that are willing to work there. The misconception is that when you give your price out, oh, that's too much, I could get a Mexican to do it for less than that. No, I have Mexicans that work for me, and there's not one of them that does not work for less than $250 a day. That's one. Two, you may find an individual that you do hire from those lots that does not know what they're doing. You're paying them what they're asking for, and next thing you know, you're calling somebody like me to repair that. So let's just get that out of the way. You're paying for quality, not quantity. Back to the contractor series. So one of the first things you have to do is once you meet your client, you write down every single thing, every down to the last detail of whatever it is that they want done. Write it down. Once everything is spoken about, read it back to them. Once you read it back to them, talk about the work that you are going to do. Exactly, verbatim, that is on that list, in a form of you repeating yourself a third time for them to understand that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do exactly what you asked me, and this is pretty much the scope of the work. Once that is agreed upon, take your time to go home, write down everything, things that you need to consider when it comes to you writing your quote, whatever it is that you pay your guy, whatever it is that you want to make out of the job, whatever you feel is comfortable to put in. Now, one of the things that we have taken into consideration, being a contractor, myself made this mistake as well, is that I take people's situations into concerns. I am by far as successful as I should have been when I started doing this. So my mistake is your lesson. One, when it comes to pricing your job, don't price the job as what you will make a day and what you will pay yourself a day. There's no way you could actually estimate how much you want to make daily when it comes to kind of work, because you're going to have to deal with stress, headaches. If you got guys working for you, now you got to deal with them. You have to deal with how responsible they are. Are they going to be on time? Are they going to show up? Are they there for your best interest or for their pocket? These are things that you have to deal with. Also, individuals that have habits, sticky fingers. They can't see a woman for anything. Like, they think any woman that's around, she's available and she's ready to be harassed or whatever. Not everybody does this, but there are individuals that have done it, and I'm speaking to you guys from experience, doing this for about 20 years now. Make sure when you speak to your client, you explain to them every single thing that's on paper. Again, before you leave and while you're out. The added costs, you going home to sit down and write everything down on the computer to draw up an agreement, draw up a contract. That is your time. You are taking your time to write all of this stuff down. You have to get paid for that. The time that it takes you, if you are the kind of individual that aren't into the computers all the time and stuff like that, and you could make a price list and put things together. If you're the individual that has to get up and go to Home Depot to price everything down, and I would actually advise for you to do that because prices are fluctuating left and right. The inflation is ridiculous. We all know that. We're not going to get into that. Write everything down. Make a list of what it is. Bring it to your table to see how much you're going to spend on materials if you are the one that is supplying the materials. When it comes to that, here's what's funny. You're the one that's doing the running around at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever the hell it's at, all the construction lot stores. Your vehicle, your gas, your total, if anything, plus your time. Not to mention, once you have those materials, you have to add something on top of the materials for that work. So you have materials, your time, and the profit that you're supposed to make from that. Put that all together, set that to the side. When you get back home, you figure out how long it's going to take you to do the job. Now, I cannot express this any much more than I'm going to express it to you right now. The whole 2-week mentality, how long is the job going to take? 2 weeks. That's not going to happen. The whole, oh yeah, I'll get it done in 3 weeks, because it's in your mind. And I've done this mistake, and I've done it as far as recently, I've done it as well. We underestimate the time that something is going to take to be done. So when your client say how long is it going to take you, you tell them I can't really give you a time frame of how long it's going to take, because we have things like supply shortages, guys not showing up, maybe there wasn't enough time to pick something up, or the place closed down, or the stores are short on stock, or there's not something that's going to be delivered when you expect it. So it's roughly, it seems that the job's going to take about 3 weeks, but expect for it to take a lot longer than that because of these issues. That way they have a more realistic expectation of when something is going to be done, something is going to be finished. Obviously, if something pops up in the middle of the work that you have to repair, that's going to take time away from that schedule. So please try your best and try your hardest not to promise on a delivery date, because you're never going to make that date. Guaranteed. Put it together as far as the job. You have to get a percentage of what the work is, right? So putting your money together, putting the quote together. If I'm repeating myself, it's because I want you to keep this in mind. This is very, very important. You're not doing this as a hobby. This is not your pastime. This is not your, I'm going to get along, and this is a way for me to get out of my house. Most clients will see your numbers, and again, like I stated earlier, will say that it's too expensive. It's not that it's expensive, it's just out of their budget. So try to figure out what their budget is. Realistically, put the numbers together and give them to them. Give them options of what you're going to do. So if they want you to renovate a bathroom, or redo a kitchen, do some flooring, whatever, you give them a price for all three of them. Break down the prices, break down whatever it is that you're going to do. Your plumbing is going to be this, your electrical is going to be that, your cabinets are going to be this, your countertops is going to be that, your tiling is going to be, you get the point. Once you've broken all of that down and you have it on paper, before you start the work, you negotiate whatever it is that's going to be done. One of the things that clients like to do is they have a high expectation of the work that they want done, low numbers to work with. You're not going to do a $30,000 job consisting of a kitchen, a bathroom, and some flooring for $10,000 and still provide the kitchen, the bathroom, and the flooring. That I did that in the beginning. It destroyed me. It caused nothing but issues. It left me broke. And at the end of the day, when I did the job, I worked literally for free. And I came out of pocket for the majority of it. This is when I started. This was, I want to say, maybe 18, 20 years ago. Yeah, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm experiencing about 32 years of this stuff. So that's one of the issues that we have. You can't afford this price. Okay, now we're going to go with a medium price. So if you want porcelain tiling, or you want marble, or you want granite or whatever, now we're going to look into what the lower end items are, and we're going to give you that price. Your labor stays the same. Your labor does not change because you're doing the same amount of work. You're just working with cheaper, more economical material. That is another issue that I made when I started out. One of the misconceptions some individuals have is they feel that if your labor is more than the materials, then you're trying to rob them. You're not trying to rob anybody. Get that mentality out of your head. Again, this could hurt you because you're taking into consideration somebody's situation. At the end of the day, they're working, they got a job, they're feeding their family, and this is what you're doing as well. So you could take some things into consideration, but not the work that you do. Do not sell yourself short. Do not give any kind of discounts. Do not do any freebies. Do not, more importantly, favors. No favors. Favors come attached to headaches. This is where I'm going to explain next. We'll talk about that in a moment. So your pricing, as far as the work that you want done, is coming in, will be your labor, your time, your vehicle, your insurances, what you're paying your guys, right? Don't be scared to tack on an extra 20% on top of the work that you're doing. If you want to go as far as 10% or 50%, that's fine. That's all on you. I add 20% to the work. So if my guy's going to be working there for a month, let's just say a month, right? I'm paying my guy $250 a day. I times those days for whatever it is. Whatever I get at the end of the month of that number, I tack on an extra $100 of that. Because that extra 100 that's coming in is money that you're going to use to be able to hire somebody else when, and not if, the guy that you have working does not show up and is never on time. You're always going to have to replace somebody. So set yourself up to be able to do something like that. Count how many individuals. If you got 3 guys, estimated for 3. If you got 4 guys, estimated for 6. Add yourself what you want to make per day on the side as well. Put those numbers together, and that is what your labor price is. Tack on 20% on top of that. Do not be scared. Now comes the materials. You add that with that price. You have your quote. And what you're going to do on this quote is the time that it took you, the day that it took you to do the list, the day that it took you to do your quote, the time that it took you to be at Home Depot or any of bigger box stores, and the time that you use your vehicles. Add all of that, multiply that by 2, that gets added to your quote. Those costs is what's going to give you the price of the work that you want to do. Now, when it comes to doing the work, get your deposit. I'd like to get 50% up front, 25% after, and then the rest of it once the job is done. Things come up. Do not be scared to ask your client for money because you're short on something. Now, this comes along with the reputation of contractors are thieves. There are a lot of contractors out there that do a lot of shady shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's contractors that get deposits and they never show up. These contractors are the scum of the earth and the reason why we have such a bad rep. An honest individual will have a hard time getting that kind of money from a client. But if you're there on time, you show your honesty, you show you have their best interest in mind, and you're treating the work like it is your own, you have no problem. Your job is, they're giving you 5% of their confidence while allowing you in their house to do this job. Make sure you earn the other 95%. Do not let nobody else mess it up for you. Do not let anybody else run with it. And just keep the focus. Another thing to keep in mind, friends and family. We all know about this one. They don't mix when it comes to your business. You want to try to look out for somebody because they're down on their luck. They don't have any money. They know what they're doing, and you trust them, and you allow your friendship and your love for them to get in the way. I've had more issues doing this work with family than I've had with individuals that had a bad habit or has sticky fingers. You're gonna get them. You're gonna have them all the time, Don't do it. It's just not worth it. They'll look out, but they're gonna let their friendship and their love for you, whatever relationship you have with them, they're gonna let that get in the way. Other things to look out for when it comes to your employees: the individual that tells you he knows everything in the world and he's a great worker, an amazing worker, comes in, but guess what? On the day that he's there, oh man, I'm late for my light bill, this and this and that, I don't got money for my rent, and he hits you up for money like around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And you, out of the kindness of your heart, you want to help out. You come out of pocket, here you go, bam. He doesn't show up the next day. Tells you an excuse. You have the guys that'll give you stories. And when I tell you give you stories, I'm talking about, I didn't show up because there was a purple flying dragon in the highway and the firemen had to turn off some fires. And I'm exaggerating and rambling about it. But it's going to happen. So friends, business, don't. Watch your investment. Talk to your client because things will come up. Another one. As you are doing the work, let's say you gotta change plumbing or you have to change some electrical or whatever the case may be. Before you continue, talk to your client, let them know ahead of time, listen, this obviously was not something that was expected. Explain this in the beginning of the job as well, that things will come up that are gonna be additional costs. And in part of that, the additional cost when it comes to that will be something unexpected. Something like they have to change some electrical wiring because the wiring is old or is stripped or is damaged or vermin got to it, whatever the case may be. That's an additional cost. Before you continue to work, before you do the work, talk to them, let them know what it is, how much that is going to cost them, and once they agree to it, make sure they sign off on it. You'll get a deposit for that as well. Do not touch what you got in the beginning. This is a completely new job. Get the money for that. If you want to get the money for the materials, that's fine. Or in my case, when something extra pops up, I like to get paid that whatever it is, I like to get paid for it in full. If I'm going to do it, if it's something that has to be done and it's crucial to the job itself. If it could wait, it could wait. But yeah, get paid for that. Make sure they understand that. But always explain this in the beginning. Things will come up. Do not expect for it to be whatever the quote is. It's an open quote. But also do not expect for the job to be done on time. And that part where you found faulty electrical or plumbing is where I was referring to as you will never meet the deadline that you set. Because things like that happen. Other things that can happen during the job. The client got into financial problems. Or husband and wife are getting a divorce now, so the job cannot be completed. You have to cover your ass when it comes to things like that. Moving on when it comes to the work itself, make sure that your craftsmanship speaks for itself. Make sure you do things the right way. Do not do a sloppy job. Regardless if the job is a little cheap or not, do not do a sloppy job. They're not paying me enough to do this. Don't go in there with that mentality. You're building a reputation. When it comes to that, your biggest compliment would be their referral to somebody else that's looking to do some work. Keep that in mind. Make sure you look neat. You have your own uniform look. I'm not saying go out and buy a uniform, get logos and all that. No. Just be clean when you show up. It's nothing worse than you come in and somebody sees you, your pants are filthy, your shirt is dirty or whatever, and immediately they're like, this guy's gonna make a mess out of my house. Get yourself out of that visual, Another thing to look out for is for the client that's always looking for something that's extra. And you're gonna get those. You're going to agree, I'm just going to throw a number out there. You're going to agree on a price of $10,000 to do some painting and work something out. The client is going to come, can you do me a favor? You mind hanging this picture on the wall for me? Or, I bought this towel rack and can you please install it for me, please? you're going to get that a lot. And that is time, and that is money. So what you could do at this point is, I don't mind doing the work right now. Just want to concentrate on what we're doing. If you have anything that you want to put up or any additional items, just make a list of what it is. Bring it to me. We'll discuss what those things are, and I will price you accordingly. Leave it at that. Don't, okay, I'm going to do it. No, leave it at that. You told them that your time is precious. That's one. They're going to get charged for whatever it is that they want you to do. Because here's the thing about it. You go hang that picture, right? Make a hole in the wall. You put a little anchor if you didn't find a stud or whatever. But now she doesn't want the picture there anymore. You know what? I want to take it down. Can you put it on that wall over there? And you go, obviously, the kindness of your heart, you take it down and you put it on the wall. Guess what? Now you have a hole in the wall. A hole that you have to patch. A hole that you have to sand, prime, and paint. And if you don't do it, when it comes to the final payment, guess what they're going to do? They're going to hold you hostage until you do that little hole and patch it up. Over a favor. Don't do it to yourself. I would like to add more. There will be another video behind this one. Went over everything that I think would be great as a contractor. It could be a lucrative business. You could make a lot of money doing this. You could provide for your family, but just always remember, you have to make sure you speak clearly. The most important part of negotiating the work itself is just speaking clearly, making sure they understand what you are going to do and nothing more. Things like the kind of door that you're hanging up, or they want to change the door to something different. That's an extra. That's a change order. Or I don't want to put the sink here anymore. I want to put the sink over there. That's a change order. That's extra. Well, maybe if I change the paint color after you paint it, that's extra. You took your time to paint the walls. You took the time to prepare the walls and paint the walls. Now it's not the color that they like, and that's the color that they chose. That is not your issue. You have to now repaint the entire place, if not prime it. That's an extra cost. And a lot of clients do not want to hear that. Oh, but you painted, I'm paying you to paint. Yeah, and I did that. And now you're asking me to paint a second time. There's so much more that goes into being a contractor. That is just more, like I said, when it comes to the pricing, people are going to think you're too expensive. Do not be cheap. Do not do any favors. Do not give any breaks to anybody that works for you. Keep your eyes open and keep your pockets good. Till next time, folks, this is D. Alvarado. I hope that, you like this video and some of it could help. I'm sure there's a lot more that I could cover. I'm going to try to make notes of everything that I should be able to cover and give you a more proper video at a future time. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, share, and subscribe to help the channel. And I'll see you all later. Peace.